So are you feeling like life is crazy at the moment and it's just feeling stressful and overwhelmed for you? So why is it that at this time of year, every single year, we all seem to feel like life is chaotic and stressful? So there was a piece of research that I was looking at through Healthline, and it says not just 44% of us feel stressed when it comes to our health, fitness, and our finances during this silly season, but 18% of us actually feel extremely stressed. And so that is exactly what we are going to talk about this morning, surviving the stress of the silly season. So it is Peter, Sue, and Sal here this morning. G'day, girls. How are we doing?
Good, Peter.
Thank you. I was waiting for you to
Master.
call me Heidi.
All fair. I just called Sal Heidi, yes, because she reminds me of my Heidi book that I used to read when I was a much younger girl back then. So, yeah. So, you know what happens when we get stressed or what goes on at this time of year is the one thing that we seem to compromise on is those healthy lifestyle routines that we have. And so what we want to do today is give you some hints and some tips and some pieces of advice and things that are working for us as far as not giving up totally on those healthy lifestyles. I'm going to start us off with that all or nothing thinking mentality. And I know that this is not something that just applies to this time of year. For many of us growing up, particularly in my era, we were taught to give, 110% to everything that we do. So there is this expectation that we want to actually do the absolute best and we have to go in boots and all. And so what that then does for us is it means that we have this way of thinking that means that I've got to do the exact amount of, for example, recommended exercise. So, the World Health Organization tells us that we need to do 30 minutes of exercise. So therefore, it's all or nothing. If I don't do that 30 minutes, then I'm going to do nothing. But this time of year, rather than us totally giving up, what we want to do is put our thoughts into a different way, which is to just go, whatever I can find, whatever I can do, I'm going to do it. And so I was thinking about the shopping center as an example. Okay, so it's starting to get a little bit crazy. And when you go there, you are probably rushing around and you're getting super frustrated that you can't find a car park. Then rather than actually getting stressed about it, embrace the fact and go to the furthest possible car park away that you can and just go, I'm going to use this to stick in line with my healthy routine, and that is to move more. And so if we can just flip the switch and go, okay, there's an opportunity here, then it means that we're not going all in, we're not going all out, but we're still doing something.
I agree with that, Peter, and I usually do that because at this time of year, everybody's parking and they want to, it's hard to get a car park, but if you go to the furthest end of the car park, you're sure to get one. So there's stress-free before you start. You've got your park. And for me, if I get my car park quickly, that sets me up for, well, that's a tick. No frustration there. But what I also do is if I've got to do a few things, I'll make sure that I walk quickly because I'm not a shopper. I don't like shopping. I like to get in, get out, do what I've got to do. I'm a woman on a mission. So I will, but what I will do is I'll go, okay, now I need to go to, say, Kmart. I've got to go to Coles. I've got to go to here. I've got to go to there. But I use that as an exercise thing. So I'll walk to one end and do what I have to do there. And then I'll walk quickly, power walk to the other end and do it there. And I know that might not seem time management, but for me, I'm getting my exercise in as I'm doing it, because I'm striding up through the shopping centre at a power walk, and I'm using that time to say, well, okay, I even got a bit breathless as I'm walking up and back. And I think that that's where you can say, well, I've done some exercise for today at the same time as doing my shopping.
It reminds me, Sue, of yesterday. We were out and about, and one of the kids wanted to get a Santa photo taken with the whole family, including Paul and I. And so it's on 3 levels, the shopping centre that we were on. And so we came around the corner and they started walking that direction. And I've gone, oh, and they said, oh, the lift's over here. And I've gone, oh, okay. And so I went the other direction, and they said, why are you walking when you can catch the lift? And I've gone, well, why not walk? And they've gone, well, we're going to save our feet. So here we are, the 40-something-year-old kids with the, this 5 and 6-year-old child, grandkids, they all went down the lift. And Paul and I took the lift and went down the stairs. So the 3 flights of stairs. So that's a bit of a concern, isn't it? That the difference in age, that we were actually thinking more about using our bodies and embracing that opportunity. Fascinating stuff.
One thing, if you are going to the shopping, another idea is to walk to the shops and see if your husband, partner, somebody can pick you up. Because I know for myself, my local supermarket, it's probably about a 30 to 40-minute walk.
Okay, that's a good idea.
So you could actually walk there, get your groceries done, and then see if someone can pick you up with your groceries.
Yeah, I like that idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, yeah, that is a brilliant idea. Absolutely brilliant. So, and I think there's the other thing is, if you're waiting for somebody or you're waiting for something, take that opportunity to do something. And one of the ideas that I was mulling over yesterday, and I often use this for myself, is I take 1 minute and I make it like a little HIIT session. So I go as hard as I can for that 1 minute. So, I might do burpees or walkouts with push-ups, or, something, could be skipping, something that's going to get my heart rate up. And so it's really, really, I'm struggling with it. And then what I do is I actually get to, sit down and wait a moment again for whoever I happen to be waiting for. And I let my heart rate come completely down. And that's HIIT in its true sense. So that's high intensity interval training. So, and if they haven't arrived by that stage, well, then I do another minute again.
Do another minute. Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems to work. Any other ideas?
There's so many. We went to, this is just not so much going shopping or anything, but we went to Carol's last night that is local. And Quinn drove us there. So we had the baby. And then we were going to have a look at the Christmas lights. And Liv said, oh, Mum, instead of just putting Landon back in the car for 2 minutes, because the Christmas lights were like around the corner, she said, let's just walk.
Nice.
And then, so we're walking along and she goes, there you go, Mum, that's our walk for the day. So we hadn't had the time during the day to get it done, but we got it done that night. And we put some pace into it. We weren't just out for an evening stroll. We put some pace in it. So I think if you think about where you're going or what you'll be doing, you know, if you are taking the kids for Christmas light looking, if you can walk there, walk there.
And, you know, the thing about moving more, and I think being conscious of moving more is really, really important generally, not just at this time of year. Like moving not only helps us de-stress, but it also boosts our metabolism, it boosts our mood, you know, it boosts our immune system. It's also going to help improve our sleep. So there are just so many advantages of moving more often when we have those opportunities that have a massive impact on our health and our well-being.
Absolutely. Especially, as you said, the stress this time of year.
Yeah, exactly. The other one that I would like to add in is getting outside. So find the opportunities, and it doesn't matter whether it's raining, whether it's, you know, sunny, whatever it happens to be. When we can get outside in the sunshine and move around, it automatically just calms us down. Nature is one of the best stress busters around. And so taking that opportunity, and, you know, we're not going for a nature walk. You know, if you have that opportunity, do it. But if you can't, then just pop outside, look at the trees, look up at the sky. You're going to find that that is really going to help calm you down. The other thing is, and one of my personal favorites, is deep breathing. So just taking that nice, you know, inhale, not 2 quick inhales through your nose and then a big exhale through your mouth. That, you know, doing that a couple of times, 3 to 5 times, that's certainly going to help you. And I know, Sel, you've used that in the shopping centre. You've got your hand up, haven't you?
Yes.
Absolutely.
You know, and it helps, you know, looking for those car parks. It helps when you're in the car and you're okay. And, you know, my kids will say to me too, Mum, okay, big deep breaths. We'll find one, put it out into the universe, we'll find one. But yeah, deep breathing absolutely helps when you're out in the shops and the car parks and everything. Yeah.
I wanted to just bring in about how I think we sort of make it crazy for ourselves. I think that it's self-imposed a lot of the time because we can't say no to people, or we think, I don't know what it is about Christmas, but it's almost like it's going to be the end of the world. You know, Christmas is coming. We've got to get everything done before Christmas. And it's a bit like, you know, you might not have seen some people for a while, or everyone wants to catch up for Christmas, whatever. It doesn't mean you have to, you know, be out every day seeing people. Why can't you see them the other 300 days of the year? So, you know, you might just say, well, look, why don't we catch up in January when it's a little bit less hustle and bustle? And we can have a really nice, relaxed catch up rather than trying to fit in, seeing everybody. And, you know, I think that we sort of feel that we have to do these things rather than taking a step back, taking a big breath, as you said, Peter, and actually thinking, well, what do I really need? Because the other day I was talking to a friend and she said, oh, I haven't even got my decorations up, and, you know, I'm hosting Christmas and, you know, it's blah, blah, blah. And I could see that she was getting all stressed. And I said, but shouldn't you be trying to enjoy this time of year as well? So it's, I think that we get caught up in that wanting to do for everybody and sort of actually become martyrs a little bit, saying, oh, well, you know, that's what I've got to do, instead of enjoying it. And I mean, I love this time of year, so I'm going to make sure that I enjoy it. So I think, you know, you've got to sort of say, well, hang on, I don't have to be this busy and I don't have to be this crazy at this time.
And I don't have to, and everything doesn't have to be perfection.
No,
I think that's what does people's heads in, is everything has to be perfect.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the decorations have to be perfect. The food has to be perfect. The table layouts have to be perfect. The
The
presents
gifts.
wrapped have to be
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
And I think that's what does people's, you know, that's how they get so stressed so sometimes, because everything has to be perfect. And like perfect example in my house at the moment is little Miss Olivia with her OCD. Everyone has to have the exact same wrapping paper for the presents to go under the tree. And Quinn's going, oh, well, I'm just not putting my presents under the tree. I don't care if the wrapping paper looks the same. Quinn, but it's got to look the same. It's got to look perfect. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Like, because at the end of the day, at the end of Christmas Day, at the beginning of Boxing Day, you look around, you go, well, that's it. It's done for another 365 days.
Yeah.
We're over for one day, and we drive ourselves crazy.
Yeah.
I think we have to delegate too. You know, why should we have to be doing everything? We should be delegating. I actually delegate the gift wrapping to my husband because he's so much better at it than I am. And but you know, if you're having everybody over on Christmas Day or for a Christmas function, we've got our family one on the 18th, you just say to everyone, okay, can you bring this, can you bring that? And people are more than happy to help. But I did, and I'm sort of taking over a little bit here, but I just thought of another thing. I'm big on planning and having my lists, and I think that's important at the beginning. Just take time out, have a plan, write it all down, but make sure in that plan that maybe you do a couple of meals that you can have in the freezer that are healthy or quick to make meals, so that, you know, we also think, oh, well, we haven't got time to eat properly, or we start getting into the Christmas treats early or whatever. But if we don't eat well, we're not going to feel well, and we're not going to have the energy to you know, enjoy this time of year.
Yeah.
And that's perfect too, Sue, because I know, Peter, you do that. You have your little packets of nuts and that sort of thing in your bag, you know, and that goes back to, if you're out all day shopping, have your healthy snacks in your bag. Because in all honesty, you go to any food court, you know, you're hard pressed to find something healthy in a food court.
Absolutely.
So, you know, having those snacks with you, because, you know, you'll get hungry if you're out all day.
You've grabbed a few of my things on my list there, Sue, which is wonderful. So we're on the same page as that. And so I wanted to actually just elaborate a little bit more on the plan concept. I think that there is, like, I love a good plan as well too, and I love a good list. But I think what we tend to do is we think of the to-do list as something that, you know, we have to write every single thing down on. But what you want to do is have two lists. One list is your to-do list, and on your to-do list, you should never have more than 3 things on that to-do list. These are your priorities for the day. So these are the important things that you have to get done. But you also have a list, and let's call it the memory jogger list. So these are all the little things that you've got to get done. Now, and I live by the memory jogging list because I juggle so many different balls at any one point. If I didn't have a memory jogging list, I would definitely forget things and not get everything done. So I also love the fact that, Sue, you also mentioned you don't have to do it perfectly. And so one of the comments that I was reminded of when you said that was one of the Christmases where we just said, well, you know, we're just going to stay home. That's it. We're not really going to go anywhere. If you want to come, come. If you don't want to come, don't, you know. And so we ended up with, I think a couple of the kids came over with grandkids, and that was okay. And my daughter-in-law actually said to me, this is the most less stressed Christmas I have ever been to. And I always put that down to the fact that I am a list writer. So I had it down. This is what we're eating. Most of it was like one pot wonder type things. So, you know, you could do things ahead of time. Those things that I could do ahead of time, I did. And then all I had to do was heat them up. There was no pressure. There was no stress. The tables weren't even the same size as such. You know, we had it outside. So there's one big table out there, and I just got a few fold ups and added that in. And then I just got things and threw them on the table. You know, looked great, but it wasn't perfect. And I think that's really, really important to know, that there is no such thing as being perfect, and we don't have to do it. All we have to do is do the best that we can and not put that stress on ourselves.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't drive yourself crazy.
No.
And I think we need, go on, Peter.
No, go, Sue.
Now I've gone a blank. No, I was just going to say that I think we also forget about what it really all is about. It's about family, friends, spending time together. Don't worry about the gifts. Don't worry about the food, because at the end of the day, you know, on a somber note, some people have lost their loved ones, and they would give anything to have them back for the day and forget about the decorations and what everything looks like. So I think we, as I said before, we make it too hard on ourselves, and we forget, you know, we need to keep it in perspective and forget what it's all about. And for, you know, it's all about family and friends, and everything else just falls into place.
It does. And I do like the fact that you highlighted to say no. You don't have to do everything. And, you know, if you're going out to a party, as an example, you know, set yourself some boundaries and say, look, I'm going to go home at this time, and go home at that time. There's nothing wrong with doing that, because what you're doing is taking care of the fact that you want to get into bed at a certain time, and you want to get up at a certain time, and you want to keep those routines. Now, I'm not suggesting that you don't go out and have a great time, or that, you know, if you want to stay out late, you stay out late. But what you do is you think about, if they're going to be party after party after party, think about the ones that you really, really are, you know, excited about, and give that one party or those two parties everything that you can do. And then for the other ones, just set those little boundaries around them and head home and go to bed and get the sleep, because we all know that sleep is the fundamental thing. If we can get good quality sleep, it means that the rest of the day is going to fit in the way it needs to. The other thing I think also is enjoy your food. Like, I was thinking about this. How many of us go, well, I'm not going to eat that, and I'm not going to eat that, and I'm going to be really strict. Well, you know, enjoy it. So you don't have to go crazy on it. You don't have to overeat. Just, you know, be thankful for the food you've got on your plate. Take a deep breath. Don't talk and eat at the same time. Put your cutlery down and actually take a deep breath and enjoy the food. Like, I love plum pudding. I'm not giving up plum pudding for anybody. So I'm going to enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my husband and I were just talking about that yesterday, and how we were sort of thinking, oh, well, we always think we're going to eat all this, you know, food that the plum pudding on with you, Peter. I made mine this week and it's all ready to go, and mince pies or whatever, and it's that time of year. But I think we find that even though we think that we're going to eat all these things, invariably Christmas Day comes and we don't eat as much as what we've thought, or we might just have one, or, you know, a little taste of something. And I think we build that up too much too, like, oh gosh, you know, we're going to have all these not treats, but all these things that we deny ourselves throughout the year. We're going to go crazy. And I don't think you do. I think if you just accept that, yep, I'm going to have a little bit of that, or I'm going to have a little bit of that, and that's enough to satisfy you.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's really interesting because Janie, Christmas is at her place this year, and she said, she's delegated it out, and so she's doing the meat, and someone else is doing the veggies, and then she said, oh, I've got whoever it was is doing the snacks, and I said, no one eats them, and she said, I know, and I said, so why do we bother? And she said, I don't know, and she said they just end up going home with someone, and I go. So it's true. Challenge yourself, right? Really challenge yourself not to go overboard on the volume. So actually think about, well, what do I actually want to have on the table, and try and make it accommodate the number of people that you've got there, as opposed to having too much food and then wondering what you're going to do with those leftovers.
Yeah.
Or going, okay, and particularly if you've got this all or none mentality and you're looking at it and you've got 3 boxes of chocolate sitting there, it's like, okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to go, well, I'm going to eat those 3 boxes of chocolates, and I'm going to eat them as quickly as I possibly can, because once they're gone, then they're out of the house. As opposed to what you could have done there is gone, okay, I'm just going to give those 3 boxes of chocolates away. So it really is thinking about, what are the things that I can do to still encourage those healthy routines that I've developed during the year, and that I'm going to take through this silly season and keep those stress levels low. I do want to add one other thing. So I actually had a really, really stressful Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week. So dealing with a few family situations. And one of the things that I did this morning, and if anybody saw me, they would have thought I was an absolute Looney Tune. So I had meditation on in my ears, and I was doing emotional freedom technique. So I was tapping. So, on the on the chin, under the nose, on the head. As I'm walking along, I was doing the tapping. And so what I paid attention to is my stress levels were feeling like they were about a 9 this morning. So they were still pretty high. By the time I had gone through the meditation with the tapping, what I was feeling like, I was sitting at about a 4. So just focusing on my breathing and tapping those meridian points, that made a heck of a difference to me. Now, you might think that's a little bit foo-foo out there, and that's okay, but it's just something else that you might even consider putting in your toolkit when it comes to stress.
Yep.
Ladies, do you have any final words or final things that you want to add in today?
I just wanted to add in, like, as we're talking about our healthy habits that we've created during the year,
Yeah.
and then we head into Christmas Day, and you might overindulge and those sort of things. Just remember, ladies, it doesn't have to then carry on to Boxing Day and every day in between New Year's and all those sort of things. It can just be that one day that you've overindulged, and then pick up where you left off with your healthy habits.
Like that. What about you, Sue?
Well, I just want you to remember that you deserve to enjoy this time of year as well. So going back to the points that we've done, looking after yourself with exercise, delegating what you can, really prioritizing what's important to you and everyone around you to make it special without going over the top.
I like that. I think that for all of us, sometimes we just live in that stress zone constantly, that we don't give ourselves that opportunity to just sit and reflect and take some time off. And this particular time of year does lend itself to that. So one of the things that I came across the other day was someone that I've got to know a little better over the last couple of months, and I would consider that she's a friend. She's going through a bit of a hard time in her life, and she's got a little fella, and she said, I don't have a Christmas tree. And I don't have the money to go and buy this Christmas tree. And so what happened was I turned up and I said to her, here's a Christmas tree and here's 3 boxes of decorations for your house. And she said, oh my God, I feel like I'm a homeless person, and, I've got all my Christmases at once. She said, my son is just absolutely going to love this. We're going to do this tonight together, and that in itself made me feel so good. I didn't need that Christmas tree. It's not important to me to have decorations up around the house. And so just being able to give it to somebody else who had a child still there, who was going to appreciate it, that just made a heck of a difference to me. And it really did put a smile on my face and made me feel good because, she felt good. And I think that comes back down to, let's not get caught up on all of the craziness. Let's, take the opportunity to think about what's important in life, and just find those small windows of moments throughout the day when we can move a little more, eat better, get to bed when we need to, and just help other people. I think that's important. So thanks for joining me today, ladies. It's been a wonderful topic. Ladies, we wish you all a very happy holiday season without stress and chaos. So take care, everybody, and we'll see you all soon. Bye for now.
Bye.